curse of bloody money. The mystery behind a crime that shook London to its core. In one of the most horrifying criminal cases London has ever witnessed, the mystery surrounding the sudden disappearance of Jonathan Wilson, a man who came into a massive fortune following a family tragedy, has finally been unraveled. The story begins with Jonathan Wilson, a 29-year-old from Manchester, who, after the sudden death of his father, discovered that a large sum of money had been loaned to a man in Birmingham. In an attempt to recover the debt, his mother and brother set out on a journey, but they never made it to their destination. A horrific accident on a foggy road claimed both their lives. Following this tragedy, Jonathan, now the sole heir to the immense fortune, retrieved the money and began a lavish lifestyle in a luxurious Notting Hill mansion. For an entire year, he lived in extravagance with his old friend and former classmate Michael Reeves, without working or facing any financial worries. But the bliss was short-lived. In early 2013, Jonathan mysteriously disappeared. For months, no one knew what had happened to Jonathan. However, his bank flagged a series of suspicious withdrawals from his account. Though the transaction amount seemed consistent, there was one alarming detail. The fingerprint signatures on the withdrawal forms appeared smaller than previous samples. Upon investigating, the police launched an inquiry that eventually led to a terrifying truth. In a search for clues, police inspected Jonathan's home beneath the wooden floorboards of the living room. They made a horrifying discovery. Jonathan's remains were buried there. The autopsy revealed he had been stabbed to death, and his right index finger had been severed. Further investigation pointed to a single suspect, Michael Reeves, Jonathan's close friend and former housemate. Under interrogation, Michael eventually confessed. One night, overcome by greed, he murdered Jonathan. He kept Jonathan's severed finger and used it to continue accessing his bank account. Concealing the finger during each visit, he pressed it onto the forms to avoid raising suspicion while draining the victim's wealth. Michael Reeves was sentenced to death for first-degree murder and financial fraud. In his final words, he said only one thing: that money was cursed. The case was closed, but the horror it stirred in the hearts of Londoners remains. Was the money truly cursed? Or was it simply the dreadful cost of human greed?